Holy Coaster Bot, welcome down to the Chain Dogs podcast. Guys, look, it's a full house. And we've got a special guest. We've got Harry from Coaster Bot.
Look who it is.
He's joining us. Look at that. Good to have you on the show again, man. Welcome
Thank you
back.
having me.
Yeah. Only us had put a podcast on when the Euro semi-final of England playing. So if you guys are tuning in, thank you for tuning in. We appreciate it big time.
I haven't been on for like over a month, and then I come back.
Sean's back.
Sporting events going on.
Yeah, we've all been very, 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 very busy, but it's cool to have us all here. It's meant to see everyone. How's chat doing? Who've we got? We've got Coaster Claire, we got Half Northern, we got YMCA Coasters, Super
Hard to watch 6 of you.
Yeah. Techno Andrew, Coaster Giant, Karen. Yeah. Wow, actually quite a few of you, 14 people. That's decent.
Dedicated.
That's dedicated.
Yeah. That is.
I mean,
how many of you are watching this and streaming football at the same time? Let me know.
We actually get we've always got like more listens on the actual podcast than we ever do on YouTube. So
yeah,
it's fine. We're doing it for the podcast people. Hello,
Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere else. How you doing? So we're going to start off with.
Joe said we are the I hate PE kids.
I always get picked last. That's why I'm here.
I liked PE. I just don't care about football.
I reckon. I reckon Harry. I bet you were pretty good at running.
I wasn't very good at sprinting. I'm too tall, but like long distance running, I was actually relatively good at. So, but now I don't do anything. Yes, sit in the chair all day.
Let's be honest. We all get our like fitness from just walking around theme parks. So.
Very true.
When we can.
I think I averaged 30,000 steps when I went to Disney World a day.
Yeah, I used to play basketball, and then I became a theme park enthusiast.
It's only downhill, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh.
Took my talents to Hershey Park.
You get traded. You got traded out from Williamsburg to Hershey. Jesus.
So
go on.
Go on. Sorry, I thought I was hosting again for a second.
You can go for it, man. You can take the reins if you want. I was just going to say, so some of you guys went to the Hyperia Attraction Source event last weekend. Yeah, last weekend.
Weekend before.
A few weeks ago. Yeah. How was it?
It was a while ago.
It was all right.
Very good. Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
It was
my first time riding it that day.
Oh yeah.
It was my first experience.
I really enjoyed it. It was dead hot.
It was very hot.
How was it? Comments on weather. That's
because up here in the north, it's smashed it down for the last month straight. So it was nice to actually go somewhere where it's sunny.
You don't need to tell me that one. Fucking hell.
It was hot and it was good. I enjoyed it. I had a great time.
I mean,
how many rides did you get?
So.
I had 4. I could have had 5, but after I was graying out on number 4, and that was also a front row ride, so I left it on a high.
Nice.
Yeah, I had 3 during the ERT and 1 earlier in the day.
Sweet.
So, what was your thoughts on it now, James?
Love it. The drop is just insane. Back row, the ejector you get as you crest in the hill is just mental. Love the Chertsey yeet. So it's like you're not in your seat at all. You're not in your seat at all.
I watched. Sorry, just on that point, Chertsey. Fucking hell. I watched Roller Coaster David's review of it this morning of Hyperia, and he calls it the sausage roll.
Yeah, we didn't get told the name, and it was something really boring, like it is just like an outward bank.
Yeah, outward bank into inversion or something, I think they said.
And then he was saying about calling it after like the guy.
Yeah, internally they
was there.
Had it like it was like Kramer
the
roll,
Kramer
but
roll
in German.
It was the guy that made it, so like stick to that, I suppose. Like claim it, you know what I mean? Like if it was just had a shit name, like an outward banked turn. And people in your workplace name it.
Don't just call it a direction. Just like give it a cool name, you know.
So we were all like, claim it, because he was like really modest, like, no, I can't. Claim it. It's a new thing.
Go for it. I'll be all over that. Because if anyone else put that on a different coaster, you'd be like, yeah, fine.
I was I was a few weeks ago. I was on site at Drayton Manor, and someone who was working on the new coaster, which is now called Gold. We now know it's called Gold Rush.
Shocking.
Creative.
It was the same guy who had designed the camelback on Falcon's flight. Is it?
Flight.
There's too many rides with the name Falcon.
Falcon. The big massive
hill.
Because Falcon's Fury is
he designed a whole layout for Gold.
No, specific. No, he didn't. I don't think he did much with the. I'm not sure what he did the layout. He was just there, like helping test the ride from Intamin. But he said he'd just got back from over there. But he had specifically designed the camelback. And he was just showing me loads of photos on his phone, and I was like, "This is just mad. You're in Tamworth. What's going on?"
Wow.
2 weeks ago, you were there. Now you're in Tamworth.
He's a very entertaining guy.
My line's just broken. I'm a bit dull.
So you're a big fan then, James?
Yes, I
got it in your top 10 anywhere.
I do have it in my top 10.
Whereabouts? I'm really curious.
It's not what you think.
I was my top 10. So the week before I went on it, I also did Belgium. So my top 10 changed quite a lot. But I have it in my top 10. Number 6.
Oh, I put it at number 7.
Okay.
What's above it? Out of curiosity for both of you.
Taron, Helix, Condor, Zadra.
Okay. What about you, Emma? What's above?
So from 1 to 6 is Ride Happiness, Zadra, 2 Tappets, Taron, Troy, Lek, then Hyperia.
Interesting. Fair.
How'd you rate it, Harry? Have you ridden it?
I've ridden it. I don't know. I have not reconciled my top 10 since I got back from the trip. So
I'm not surprised. Which we will get.
Yeah, it definitely didn't hit as hard as I would expect. I wanted to. You what?
What do you say, Harry? What do you say? Sorry.
It didn't hit as hard as I wanted it to.
Right.
After going to the States and riding all of these big coasters. But I mean, yeah, it probably isn't in my top 10. But it's probably not far off it.
Right. That's good.
It's a hard one.
It wasn't in my top 10 until I did a front row. I was thinking about it and I was like, it's probably not top 10. And then I did a front row and I was like, okay, that just blew my mind. Like, then it went up to like. So without that, I get that. I mean, I've never been to America, so I can't, compared to a lot of people, I've not got massive coasters. But yeah, without the front row, it wouldn't have been in my top 10.
Interesting you say. You got a couple more big coasters than me, like Zadra and 2 Tatis and stuff like that.
Yeah, but I've just never been outside Europe, so like I can't like.
It's really weird. It's when you're in America, it's like you're doing a trip. It's like massive coaster after massive coaster, and I mean, I'm sure you feel the same. It's like you come back from a trip and you've done like 80 coasters or 80.
The last thing I wanted to do was ride more roller coasters.
A lot, isn't it?
Yeah,
you've cleared a lot of Europe now, haven't you? Like,
do you know what? No. I've not done a lot. I've not. Have you? When you think of like the big hitters, where
what are you still like main? Like, what's still high on your hit list?
I've never been to Europa. I've been to PA twice, but not within the last 15 years. So
wow,
I went twice as like a teenager before, so it was like driving a car or nothing. Where else? I've never been to Efteling. So yeah, in terms of like the popular ones in Europe, I've never. I've been fair share. I've never.
But she's been to Plopsaland twice.
Yeah.
As you should,
I mean, like, for obvious reasons, but
totally didn't.
I accompanied my good friend Sean.
After
true that
going there.
What you looked at an annual? Yeah, you did, didn't you? You looked at annual passes.
They're actually really cheap for Plopsa, and it's quicker to drive to Plopsa than it is to Towers for me.
Yeah,
but you are basically buying an annual pass for a coaster, really.
Yeah.
I mean, Anubis is good, but it's like, you know, it's you're getting it for a ride to happiness, let's be honest.
Yeah, obviously.
So
in
other news, anyone heard this Frontier?
So Frontier on Twitch have been streaming or live streaming for like a good few hours now. Just audio.
5 hours now.
5 hours have been streaming audio from Planet Coaster, which is just ambient noise. Now it could be from Planet Coaster 2, which is what a lot of people are saying, and the evidence all points to Planet Coaster 2 coming out at some point. They did a massive 95% sale across all platforms, Frontier. Over the last almost 4 weeks, which is insane. Because when they do that, every time they've done that, they've released something like Jurassic Park Evolution or Planet Zoo or an expansion pack to something just to get them next bits of sale on the previous version. So it's looking like Planet Coaster 2 could be around the corner, which I am bloody excited for because we've needed
a lot of
new Planco game.
Yeah. So when I used to play Planet Coaster, I don't really play that much anymore. But when I used to play, and I just wanted to get more inspiration on just like park building, just like in general. I used to watch a lot of YouTubers and streamers, like, I don't know if people know these names, like the delay designer, Rudy Renkamel, like Silverette. I know you know Silv. I know you, Harry. I know you know Silv.
Great guy.
Like. And like I've seen recently, just like a lot of them putting out more and more Planet Coaster 2 subject videos,
right?
About, like what's rumored, what their wish lists for it are, like what, like just basically like updates on things that they might have heard from like Frontier, etc., or just like people who are in the know and stuff. And like the rate at which they put out those kind of videos, just like I see a new one almost every day.
Yeah, there's one on the homepage every day on YouTube. And if anyone's going to know what's going on, it's content creators like them, which have been doing it for years and at a very high level as well. And they're even doing like things before that as well. So I do feel like they're hoping on it as well, because obviously a new game for their channel is going to be massive.
Hoping on it or hopping on it?
Hoping that it comes out, because a new Planet Coaster game on their channel will be huge. It's like every time something new comes out from Frontier,
it feels the thing is, right, like I love Planet Coaster. I don't really get because it's a luxury to play that game, because if you want to make anything good, it's you have to put dedication into it.
Yeah, and you have to have a good system.
It's because it's such an what's it designed on? Like, is it Cobra? What's it Cobra? Like the platform? It's because that. It's not Unreal, is it? It's
not Unreal.
It's their own engine.
It's their own. I think it's called Cobra. I think it's something like that.
I think it is Cobra. It's just, I think you might be right.
It's just so like when you get to a certain like count of like bits, like pieces or whatever, like you know when and it just takes forever to load. It doesn't matter how good your computer is.
Yeah,
like, it's so clunky. The paving compared to the new Planet, Planet Zoo.
And Jurassic World,
and it's just like it's really needed now. And it's like if I took a few months off playing it a while back. I played it a lot in lockdown, and then I didn't do anything for ages. And I went back to it, and I just realized like how clunky, like just trying to turn pieces and line them up with things. And I'm just like, it's just not that enjoyable anymore. If I just want to just quickly dabble in it, like I'm just like, I
think when Planet Coaster came out, it was ahead of its time for what people could run on the systems. And I do believe when they went to console, they kind of brought the optimization back a little bit with it, but then they lost it again when they did other stuff on PC with it. But I think the community really over the last what is it, almost like 10 years or something like that, have kept it going.
There's not really any alternatives. I mean, you've got like they've got good other games, but in terms of like if you love theming, if you love actually theming rides, not just like it's not No Limits is for like people who want to do coasters, but if you want to
coasters in little areas, definitely.
There's not really anything that matches it. No. What's the other one that played?
I mean, if you know it's a 3D model.
Architect's great for like actual managing a park.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah,
that's a fun game. I love that game.
It's fun for like
Launch Rapids for the win. Do you remember that, James? We did that stream. We did a Launch Rapids. That was amazing. Had a loop.
But like, yeah, it's just I can't. Whatever. If it does come, that would be the best news. And I think didn't Planet Coaster like socials, Twitter, X, whatever, retweet it as well. But then Planet Coaster retweeted it.
Yeah, they just literally put like a picture of a speaker, and then just posted it out. That was it.
Yeah,
done.
There we go. We got a goal. I could hear it outside.
Yeah, we got a penalty. We got a penalty. So thanks for telling me what happens because I'm watching it on stream.
there's a pub like back at my office.
Yeah,
I've got the window open.
So
Bart.
So yeah, there we go. Let's hope it comes. Let's hope we get a new decent game that's just a little bit easier to build on. But cool. Has anyone seen this? I've just seen it pop up on my feed actually about the rust on Hyperia's.
Yeah, on the trim.
That's the first time I've seen that. I mean, sorry for
what the trim in the swamp.
Yeah, it's in the swamp.
Hyperia's design is awful, isn't it? Looks so bad.
Like, I look at it every time and I just go, "What the fuck is this?" Like, I know that they're not allowed to fill the water back in themselves. Apparently, they have to leave it up to nature to kind of heal itself and stuff. It looks fucking disgusting.
It's that and the rest of the area as well. Leave that to nature.
They could have put something around it though. Like, they could have made a little pool.
It's a fucking eyesore. It is. It lets the whole thing down. It's just.
They could have put a little pool in there, like Shikra or like even Shambhala has a little pool. You know, that's a nice little splashdown. That doesn't smell
probably
like
you know what? It's probably not even rust. It's probably like the weird chemicals. Whatever's in that water around.
I was saying like the amount of construction and like just all the dirt that's gonna be mixed in with the water that they're using,
oil
from building it.
Yeah,
well, is it actually rust or is it just deposit from all that crap in the water?
Yeah, I think it's just
rust
iron
shouldn't like come in that quickly.
No, it wouldn't be that.
There's a lot of
coated track as well.
Yeah,
there's a lot of iron in that water.
It would just be a reaction to like whatever the track, probably the paint of the track or what. I don't know. It'll just be a chemical reaction. I think that makes it look that color, but it is that color, but yeah, cool. So that's Frontier. Gold Rush. We just mentioned it. I finally announced last week for the name.
For some reason, I completely forgot about what Gold Rush was. I just saw it in the chat then, and I was like, Gold Rush. Oh yeah, it's that weird Intamin coaster Drayton Manor has built.
Yeah.
It's looking good though. I saw that they've done a little entranceway with a piece of track similar to how they did with Vikings, but with like what looks like minecart track. Looks really good actually. Looks really nice.
I'm excited to ride it. When I saw it a couple of months back, it's bigger than I thought it was going to be. Like,
it's going to be a longish ride, isn't it?
Have you guys seen testing footage of it?
Yeah, and I still don't quite understand the layout.
I don't think generally will ever understand.
Oh, I kind of get it now.
I get what it does, but I'm like,
yeah.
I've been around the area and I've had to have it explained to me so many. I'm like, tell me what it does again. Like, it's such a.
Oh, you're filming the wrong way.
Is it going that way or that way?
To me, it just looks like it moves a lot faster than I was expecting.
Yeah.
I think it'll surprise people.
I think
I'm faster than I thought it would be.
I'm excited for the coaster itself, but I'm just more excited for like how that whole area is going to look and when you're up there. Because like I do miss Apocalypse. I do really miss Apocalypse.
Who doesn't?
But it looked like it just that area.
That area wasn't great, was it?
It was just it wasn't good.
Like an entryway to a service station.
Yeah, pretty bad.
It was just like at least we're getting something that's a little bit more thought out, an actual area. I'm excited to see like when them walls come down, like how the whole park looks because it's starting to look. It's starting to come together really nicely. And I think it's.
I wonder when it's going to open.
No,
It's got to be soon. They've been testing quite a lot, haven't they? I saw on X that someone said that had been testing overnight as well. I think it might have been on one of Matt's posts actually. So I don't know.
I was going to say, if anybody knows, Matt will know because Matt knows everything.
I've seen the rumor of 23rd for something because of a casting call from like a random guy going out for a one-off event in Staffordshire, Wild West theme. It was just like that. So, and also they announced like a competition to do with their annual passes. If
they did, you're right. Yeah, they did.
To go to the like VIP press event. So
yeah,
and that competition entry closes tomorrow. So
could your entries in
work out for the rumored date.
Who knows?
Yeah, it's a cool coaster, and it's nice. Like you say, it's nice to see that they're investing that much as well in the park. I'm excited to see what's after this. It feels like they're just keeping the Vikings and then this, and that, you know, it's just going to keep going. I think, hopefully.
I do hope there is more after this.
Wave as well. Yeah, I do.
Yeah, that's my worry that there's not. You know, and there's this like big money dump to fix Straight Manor, and then it just ends. So
there is that fear, isn't there? I don't even know what they do next. Like, I don't know. They can't touch the zoo. They can't really take Shockwave down and replace that because they put Wave in. So it's, I don't know what do they do. Maybe put something more in Vikings. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what do you guys think?
I'm hoping something happens with Pirates.
Yeah, can we just
like not necessarily bring it back, but it's quite a big. I reckon they need a big. What they're missing is a big like dark ride. Like
and that's the perfect space for it, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean they've got the haunting, but like I think it'd be nice if they had. It doesn't even have to be trackless. Like it just a really cool state of the art tracked ride would be cool, or boat ride, or just something like inside would be.
A boat ride would be mint. Just do a dark ride.
We've got because I've always loved the pirate feel of the area in the middle. Like back in the day, it was really cool. So I love it if they would keep with that pirate theme, because then you've got like, I mean, I know it's cliche areas, but I love a Western theme. I do. I think it's a classic. If it's done well, it's done quite good. Pirate theme.
when it looks authentic.
But then they've got like
when I really enjoy it.
Got Adventure Cove, which looks nice. It's nice and colourful. Obviously, they've got Thomas Land, and they've got Vikings area. So, they've got a nice few areas. But I think they kind of need to decide whether they're going to keep a pirate theme or they're just going to make that a very just neutral central area or something. I don't know.
Yeah. What would you do, Harry, if you could?
Yeah, I mean, I remember riding the Pirates ride as a kid. And not really appreciating it as much as probably I should have when it was stood around,
It was my favorite.
It was cool, wasn't it? It was always really cool.
Me and my sister used to just go round and round. It never had a queue, so just
no, yeah.
When you think,
go on.
I was going to say, just when you think about like how ambitious it was for a UK park to build something like that back then, like when you think of the scale of it, like it was like pretty crazy, like.
I always remember there was like that scene in there, where they were like fighting from the two sides and they were like firing the cannons over the water. And I always remember like that pirate that was underneath the plank of wood and it was like dunking him. That was like a core memory of that ride. Every time I see him, I'd be like, look at this guy.
Something that always stuck in my head was like them two pirates like fighting. And I was always like amazed as a kid, like how effective it was of just like they used to have a light and you just see the shadow of them like with their swords. And I was just like little things like that. I was like, it's so cool. But yeah, I'd love it if they just did a pirate ride, just something that was like paid tribute to it in a way, but was a bit more modern.
But, I think Pirates works. I think like really stereotypical theme park areas work. You can do it quite like badly and it still works because everybody knows what that area is meant to be, so it's like a safe bet. I'm not the biggest fan of the generic. I don't like Port Ventura for that reason as much as other people, because I find it to be basically just your pick of generic theme park themes, there's nothing else.
I do think Port Ventura does those generic themes well, though.
It does very well. I agree, but they'll always be generic, and they'll always be like, here's another Wild West area, here's another like Polynesian jungle area, cool.
And
what? I don't know.
I went
I
on.
think Drayton-
Like when it comes to generic areas, I think of like Wild West. Like a lot of parks just get away with just doing like the 2D facades on buildings and stuff, and everything just ends up looking really cartoonish. But
No, you're
Portaventura, I think, actually does it
quite generically,
making a generic theme actually look like a fleshed out 3D kind of world.
Oh no, definitely. I did
But the
see
Polynesian bit
Portaventura
nice
had had a water wheel with water coming into it, but it was going the wrong way.
Oh,
Yes,
no.
this is quality theming, everybody.
Yeah. Hershend would never do that, like, would they? No.
Never.
But like, you can always, if you go cliche, if you go too opposite cliche, then you get like Woozy Town, and it's just like,
where am I?
what is Woozy Town?
What is
I mean,
It's
the backstory. It's mad. It's about like dragons and aliens and stuff, or something.
I feel like the backstory of every Fantasyland area is just utter bullshit that they come up with after they built it.
The backstory,
why did you do this?
The backstory is quite literally whatever you want it to be.
Yeah.
People like us, they build it because it looks cool, but then they think, shit, these enthusiasts are going to ask for the fucking story. What is it?
Literally.
Dragons, aliens. There you go.
It basically sounds like
it says on the website, just Google it and find our 3-page dissertation on.
But it's almost
available on audio.
If AI, like if Chat GPT was a thing back then, I would believe they just use Chat GPT to be like, come up with this theme, and then they just like massive thing. But yeah.
A lot of people using that these days.
There's such divide on Woos.
Right
now in the chat.
Why is there a divide? It's objectively bad.
It's not real.
I didn't say I don't like it.
Like, what is it?
Yeah, some people like it's amazing. Others are like,
oh, hail the frog. Yeah, it's what is it to do it like frog? Yeah, Claire will know. Yeah, it's something to do with frog and aliens. I can't remember what it was, but it was just mental. But yeah, there we go.
Love Fantasyland. Hope we get back there soon. It's nice.
Yeah, I keep wanting to go back, but then I'm like, there's other places I want to go, but there's just hold that. Like I keep wanting to go back.
I just want to ride Taron at night again.
I need to do flies, so I have to go.
What a ride!
I go in summer, but it's also really fucking not in summer, winter. It's also cold, man.
It is cold.
I don't like being cold.
I mean,
it was so cold when we were there that we ended up using one of the heaters. You know what you'd dry you off after water. We just kept going in them heaters just to get warm because it was so
That's great.
But
I remember when we came off Chapas. Do you remember when we came off Chapas and Lev was drying off his soles of his shoes in the
hotel? Went back to the hotel
with a hair dryer.
He just got the hair dryer and was drying inside his shoes.
He was drying inside of his shoes. Got absolutely drenched. I don't know how because I didn't. No one else did. It was just Lev. Lev got attacked.
I reckon if we make it to like episode 200, it will just be a Fantasyland like podcast. Probably.
Yeah.
It's getting to that point where
at Fantasyland.
So cool. So shall we move on to
it's a part of the Fantasiana like dinner show. It's just us chatting shit.
Wow.
It's a Chain Dogs takeover. That'd be fucking amazing.
That'd be class. That's so fun.
So shall we? So we kind of wanted to chat through because obviously Harry, you've just come back from a big trip to America.
Yeah,
across America. So we thought that'd be a nice topic to go through.
Yeah.
Saw your video about
the video had some interesting reactions to it.
Right.
I browse the weird part of the roller coaster internet, like on Reddit r/rollercoaster jerk and stuff like that, just to see what everyone's up to. And my name doesn't usually come up in there very much. When I posted that video, instantly 2 different people posted it in there, and everybody was raging about the fact that I said like their parks weren't very good and stuff like that. I thought it was a relatively balanced argument. That's what I was trying to get at, right?
No, I thought it was balanced.
I felt like when I watched that video, I completely understood what you meant, because I felt exactly the same. Like, don't get me wrong, like there's a time and place for just doing a massive fucking coaster on concrete. Yep. Like, yeah, there is a time and place for it, but it's when I think it's just different. And I know probably some people feel like it's really like pretentious or highbrow, being like, well, I've been to European parks, and but it's just like what we're used to. Like, I've mainly done European parks. I'm not even talking about the UK, really. I'm just talking about going to, the Efteling, your Phantasialands.
Yeah.
And even like, like we mentioned, like Portaventura is like, it's a theme park, but I don't really class it as like the most I don't put it up there with Phantasialand and Efteling and that. But when you compare it to like a Six Flags, your typical Six Flags park, you're like, wow, it leaps and bounds. So yeah, I don't know. It's probably just people getting
it's in that middle area where the Busch Gardens parks lie.
Yeah, but Busch Gardens is different because Busch Gardens is just a beautiful park. Like, it's not necessarily like, I wouldn't.
That's all you need.
Yeah,
sometimes, isn't it? That's the thing. Like, you don't even need it to be.
Tampa is so nice, and having really all the animals as well while you're walking around was like a shock to me. I didn't expect it. It's just like an animal at every corner, and that really blew me away. But the coasters, like, they were great and all, but I messaged you straight away, didn't I? I was like, I totally get what you mean. Like, and that's how I feel.
Yeah, I think a lot of people in the comments did feel vindicated a little bit about what I said.
Said something so like eloquently, like that I couldn't get across myself. You put it across the way I would want to say it, but couldn't say it myself.
Yeah, that's why I leaned into the like atmosphere bit quite a lot, because I think it was important to not, go full hog and go, America's bad, all the regional themes, like amusement parks are terrible. It's more than just well, it's more than just the atmosphere. Just there isn't any for a lot of the rides, and you just like, I'm about to ride the 5th tallest roller coaster in the world, and I feel nothing. I remember looking at Intimidator 305 and going, I'm going to be on that in 5 minutes. And that was it.
That's the one. Yeah.
Literally, it's just like
I just
going on around that ride.
I just slightly different experience, because obviously it was closed when we did it. When we first went to the park, so we traveled all the way back just to do it. So for us, we had this like, are we going to ride it? Because I genuinely thought we was just going to go home and not ride like 305 and Fury. And like
your trip was very tragic.
I think it just didn't help that we went through like an insane like heat wave. Like, do you know what I mean? Like, it was too hot for locals, and America's already too hot for us. And when they're just avoiding going to parks, that did not play in our favor. But yeah, I mean, it was one of them where with I-305, like but then again, I did 2 rides in it, and I was like, I'm good. Like, we've just paid entry just to come and do this coaster, but I'm like, I'm good now. Can we go back to Williamsburg?
That's the thing, isn't it? Like, as soon as you experience a part that you actually enjoy spending time in, it's like, I don't really care about these big roller coasters anymore. I just want to feel good, So,
because Williamsburg is hands down like probably one of my favorite parks I've been to. Like, in terms of just the atmosphere. Just, it's a very nice park to walk around and to chill in. And
you don't know how proud that makes me to hear that. No, but and that's kind of the takeaway that I got. Is that we've talked about this like since the video. Like, I've mentioned that I'm a person who, like, I mean, like, if you put a gun to my head and make me choose between the two, I'm gonna choose theme parks over like well fleshed out executed theme parks over amusement parks. But I am a coaster enthusiast still as much as I am a theme park enthusiast, and I can appreciate, obviously, just like enveloping areas as much as I can appreciate big and fast coasters and stuff. And to be honest, like, I am someone who, like, I tend to stay on the belief that there are both in the United States, and there are also both in Europe. And I think it's becoming a little bit of a. I'm not going to say a bit of a misconception, but like I feel like when people make arguments for one or the other, like the US or Europe, like there is still the majority opinion that America only has the big, like the massive coasters and the kind of blandish regional parks, like obviously not taking into account Universal and Disney and stuff. And then Europe has the more fleshed out, like the majority more fleshed out theme parks and stuff. There are both on either side. And I think there's going to be more than one. There's going to be more of one than the other in each continent, but I think it needs recognizing as Europeans travel to the US more, as Americans travel to Europe more, that you're going to like you can go over to the US and find Dollywood and Silver Dollar City and the Busch Gardens parks, and even like much smaller versions that will give like the same kind of experience, like your Glenwood Caverns and other sort of a bit more niche parks like that. Like it's not all just it's not just all Six Flags and Cedar Fair.
You got Knoebels, interesting place.
Knoebels as well. And then like and to that point, like your smaller family owned parks that have that really like quirky but traditional American.
Yeah, it's that tradition, isn't it? Yeah, that like traditional kind
which is a whole experience in itself as well.
I know, because like you know, I'm not like when we went to Coney Island, you know, frankly, it's a bit of a dump, but it has like such a charm about it. You know, like it has like a real charm about it, and I love that that part of it, because it's just like this like little enclave where everything's like surrounded it over the years. And you know,
I want to go back with my camera so bad to Coney Island.
Yeah,
and just I was saying this to a friend like literally like last night or the night before or something like that. Like I want to go to more of these small, like kind of strange, quirky, like fairground-ish kind of amusement parks, and just document them and take photos of them and like see how creative I can get with photos and stuff.
Look, Harry, did you go to Great Adventure?
Unfortunately,
yeah.
The Great Adventure was home to the worst area I've ever seen in a park ever.
I'll be interested to know what you're going to say here.
I have a feeling I know exactly what you're going to say.
It's the bit between Superman and Green Lantern.
Yes.
Awful. Really bad.
Probably like one of
I don't know.
Probably one of the worst parts in anything.
If you envision what the apocalypse would look like, in terms of like, you know when like an apocalyptic film comes up and you see New York, but it's ruined. Imagine that, but in a theme park. That's what it feels like almost. You know, it's just like completely desolate. There's nothing going on. So the rides are slapped over. Like
I'm gonna have to like find it on YouTube on a vlog. I'm gonna have to go and have a look.
It's not hard. It's not hard to find.
I get some photos.
There are enough Great Adventure vlogs out there.
It really threw me off, right? Because the Great Adventure was the first Six Flags park I've ever been to.
It's the only one I've ever been to.
Well, to me, it's still the only one. But
was that the only Six Flags park you went to?
By choice and kind of on purpose, yeah.
All right, yeah.
But I got there and we just headed straight to like King Dakar. So we went straight there, and then like we was walking through, and I was like, and then we went like we went there, and then we did El Toro, and then we went around the back, and I was like, this is actually a really nice park. I was like, this is not what I expected.
Some bits are actually,
yeah. I was like that, and that part is still quite nice. You know, it's really nice, like loads of like trees and stuff, and because I got the safari out back and stuff, so you're around there, you're like really nice. And then later in the day, that's when we went over to like Green Lantern and I was like, oh, right, this is what I imagined it to be. This is what I imagined it to be like. And it was like a concrete desert. It was like so hot at the time. Again, it was so hot.
Vile.
It was just like even worse. There was like bits of sick everywhere. There was like rubbish everywhere. Then Chris like lost his phone because he left it in the locker. and then we spent about 40 minutes trying to find his phone, and then it was on top of the locker. It was just like the staff were just so unhelpful. Like we were like, we've lost the phone. Has anyone handed it in? And they're just like, nah. We're like, what? Okay. So what do we do? And it's like, nah. We're like, we're tracking it. We can see it. Like it's around this area. Like, and it was just like it was very, I don't know. But anyway,
Kinder Car's good though. On the front,
Kinder Car is
really cool.
Yeah.
I would say Great Adventure is one of, if not the Six Flags park with the most potential to become something really like. Well, I mean, it was supposed to be a staple like years ago, but I'd still say it has like that kind of potential in it. Because like you said, there are a lot of areas that are really nice and really well done.
Yeah.
But there's also a lot of have a Six Flags day about it.
The amount of people, like the visitor numbers they get, also are really high. Like the grand scheme of things. So you would have thought they'd have the money.
And once upon a time, that was by design.
Yeah,
like there was going to be like a huge hotel like in there. I don't know what kind of plans they had for the water park or anything, but like there were like the same way. Like Ceda Fair poured money into Carowinds to make that sort of like a regional destination with like their hotel and the improvements to their water park, and then obviously Fury. Like Six Flags had those kind of plans for Great Adventure, and I mean, don't quote me on this. Like, there's info online about it, but like it just didn't pan out for whatever reason.
It's got potential because like it used to be pre-COVID. The safari park used to be part of the main theme park, and then you could go on like you could go on like and do like the safari as part of your ticket, and then post COVID they separated them out, so they're just like 2 ticketed gates now. Well, you can't get there, and I'm like, that just needs to be like a resort. Bring it all into one in each other. Build like a hotel with like a swimming pool, and it could actually. The amount of people who are visiting from like New York, you can imagine like that's where they're pulling all their visitors in, and then they can make that a destination. They kind of need to work on that a little bit, but we'll soon see what happens after this with the merger and stuff. It'd be interesting to see what the plans are.
No idea how that's going to work out for all of it.
So many parks, isn't it? So much to take
Did you
on.
see the map they released of like
like a GTA map? It was ridiculous.
How many is it into? What, 27 locations was it?
It's insane, isn't it?
Something like that.
We get the map,
but just purely from an access standpoint, I'm happy with it because now I don't have to spend 2 sets of money on 2 passes.
How much do you reckon the pass will be?
I don't want to.
The Six Flags one was always really cheap, wasn't it?
Yeah.
6 Flags one was really cheap, yeah.
Right.
And I mean the fact that the company is bearing the Six Flags name.
So it's like I'm a bit out.
It'll be interesting to see how they choose to price though.
I'm a bit out of the loop with that. So are they just dropping the Ceda Fair name altogether, but still keeping like Cedar?
As far as I can remember, they are dropping They're dropping one of the 2 stock exchange names.
They're keeping fun.
They're keeping
the Ceda Fair stock name of fun.
Yeah,
but they're taking the Six Flags brand name because no one knows who Ceda Fair is.
Right,
even though Ceda Fair bought Six Flags.
In comparison to Six Flags, anyway.
Yeah.
Ceda Flags.
Yeah, call it Six Flags.
I've got the map if you want me to put it on screen.
They're taking the like they're dropping the Ceda Fair name, like apart from on the stock exchange, but they're taking the Ceda Fair like typeface and font usage and using it on Six Flags basically. Right. So the name is the Six Flags Entertainment Network or something.
Yeah, I've got the map here if you want me to pull it up, and we can just...
and they're just using the font from Ceda Fair on Six Flags.
That is ridiculous.
So there you go.
Insane,
there's the map.
Especially how many of them are really close to each other who obviously competed before, 50, but now no longer will.
24, 20, 29?
Wow.
29 locations, or like 30, basically 30 locations. That's crazy. and still nothing in the Pacific Northwest. Thanks, right?
Just
Look at that
being like,
massive
yeah,
fucking
fuck you,
gap in the
Did they
top
do?
left corner.
They've upset someone somewhere, haven't they?
Yeah.
Yeah, big time.
No man's land.
Mm.
That's insane, though, isn't it?
Oh, he's suffering.
Yeah. It's because
So,
it's
Harry,
too.
what-
It's because it's too close to you, McCall. They're like, nah, we're
Fuck Mikhail.
Nah.
Says
big
it
big
right.
ring around McCall. Hold on. Anyway.
So yeah, Harry, what was some of the highlights from your trip then?
Well, talking about Great Adventure,
Can you,
El
actually,
Toro.
before you
Go
go
on.
into that, right, we'll pick up on El Toro, but can you just list every park you went to?
Yeah.
go.
So we started at King's Dominion, then went to Busch Gardens Williamsburg for a day and a half, then went down to Carowinds, to Dollywood, Holiday World for Hollywood Nights, Kings Island, 2 days at Cedar Point, 3 hours at Knoebels on the way through. Yeah. Then we spent a day at Hershey Park, a day at Six Flags Great Adventure, and like 4 hours at Dorney Park.
Right.
So
Sounds
nice.
tiring.
it was tragic. I really do not recommend you do it because it is
Did you
very
get
bad.
rest days in between, or was it like part?
We had two travel days, which were meant for getting, because I think it's the leg between Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and Carowinds was like 6 hours. So we had a travel day, but we ended up going to Busch Gardens for like 5 hours and then did the 6-hour drive afterwards, which was dumb. And then I guess, Cedar Point back to Pennsylvania was also 6 hours, but we broke that up by going to Knoebels for 3 hours. So we went to a theme park every day for 15 days.
So
it
you didn't
wasn't
have like
really-
a lion. You were just on.
No, we
or
didn't
first thing-
have a.
Oh,
have a
I'd have been
lion.
dead after about 3 days. I'd be like, I can't even do
We
a
got-
weekend in Blackpool. I can't do it.
Yeah, it was a mistake. We quickly
You gotta
learned
have,
that
you
it was
gotta
going
have
to
at
be.
least 1 day to chill. And
Yeah, well, I only get so much time off work, though, you know.
that
All in.
is
It's kind of-
true.
yeah.
You gotta maximize the time that's
Did you
available
just
to
do
you.
that like typical Thursday thing though, of when you were planning the trip and you were like, well, this is where I want to go, but we are going through there, so we'll go there as well, and then like, well we could fit
That
that
is
on
the
as
problem,
well.
isn't it?
Yeah,
That's
it
everyone-
happens.
Big problem.
Yeah.
I pretty much looked at like the east coast of the states and went, what parks do I want to go to realistically? And it ended up being the like 10 of the 11 we actually did go to. And I tried to be very strict. Like Andrew kept suggesting we go to Six Flags America, is it? The one near Washington? Is that Six Flags America? I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I was like, no, we're not going to go there. Why I'm not going to spend a day there. Why am I going to do that for, you know?
Yeah.
So I was fairly adamant that we were going to go to the ones that were good.
We're actually worth
But
going
then now I know that none of them are good. So
yeah.
that's a joke.
So
Just to make sure people realize that.
yeah.
Yeah, no one get triggered.
We so you didn't do Hershey then?
Don't count.
No, we did do Hershey.
Oh, you did.
Yeah.
Sorry, I didn't know if you did Hershey. I liked
Yeah.
Hershey. I really liked Hershey. I think it's very confused. I think it was.
That's the
seemed
word
very-
to describe it. Yeah.
Yeah, it felt very. I know this is going to trigger McCall because he's a big lover of Hershey, but I think it's
Oh,
got good-
relax.
Yeah.
You know me once.
Reddit, you're listening.
I felt very confusing, but there was parts of it like I really liked, and I did like the coaster lineup is very good there, except for like flipping crush. Oh, it's the Candemonium. It's just like so pointless.
It's fine. It's not even the worst hyper.
What, the hypercoaster?
No, but it's just nothing. It just felt like I don't know if it is just because like the coasters we were doing that trip, but
Probably.
it felt like nothing to me. It just felt like a very pointless coaster. Like what they could have built in that place. Like it just felt very generic.
Yeah, but it's like friendly, isn't it? Skyrush tries to kill you. Candemonium is actually doable for normal people. So.
I guess so. Yeah, I mean you have to take
That
it.
is the literal point of why they built it.
To me, Candemonium is just a very expensive, nice entrance theming piece. It looks very nice
Yeah.
when you walk in. That's what it is to me. I'm like, it looks good.
It looks great around that fountain from like.
Oh, it is cool.
There.
Yeah,
it looks class.
But yeah, we did obviously on our one. We did 8 days non-stop, and I think afterwards, like that was like the limit. Like we kind of just got to our limit, and we didn't realize we'd got to our limit until we was like on the way back to the airport, and we was kind of like, we should have had like one just chilled day. Like we just one chilled day would have been okay.
Yeah, that happened for exactly the same for us, but that was when we got to Holiday World for Hollywood Nights. So the first day we all got there, like it was like four of us Brits surrounded by a metric shit ton of Americans, which was a bit of a culture shock, and we're all thinking, how are we going to survive these next 2 days? You know, we're like running on empty. I do not know what's going to happen.
Yeah, chilling is not on the itinerary of Hollywood Nights.
No, it's really not. But pretty much this entire second half of the trip, our morale was much, much lower.
Yeah,
you know, just because we were running on empty at that point every day for another 7 days. So it really was stupid.
Yeah. When I did my massive 3 weeks.
Did you go in a group or did you was it just
yeah. So we met up with my friend Andrew, who lives in Pennsylvania, and me and him shared driving the entire way around.
Yeah.
And he obviously knew what he was doing. And he's like the most un-American American I know. He's very, very not American, so it's okay. And then I went with 2 other Brits, Joel, I think, who official in the chat, and then Thomas as well. So there's 4 of us mainly. But we also joined with another 3 for half of it as well.
Yeah, so meeting up,
You got like Sam and Ben there as well, didn't you?
Yeah, Sam, Ben, and Jamie.
Yeah.
So,
I was just gonna say, like, in terms of like planning in like rest days and stuff, I guess I kind of got lucky when I did my like massive 3-week trip in 2019. Like the first part of that was a like 6 or 7 day road trip with a friend of mine down from Atlanta up to basically Ohio. And like a couple of those days were like 2 park days. Like, so like we would do like Six Flags Over Georgia and then Alabama Adventure because it was like 2 hours away, like in the same day. And we did Worlds of Fun and Six Flags St. Louis in the same day as well, like after Silver Dollar City. And then when we got to the end of his road trip, because I was just joining him basically, I then flew down from Cincinnati to Charlotte, North Carolina for Carowinds to meet another friend. But it just so happened that she couldn't fly in until like a day or 2 after I got there, like after the evening that I got there. So I ended up having an entire day to do absolutely nothing before then going to Carowinds and Dollywood. So after that road trip, it just worked out that I had a rest day to just basically sleep before carrying on with the rest of the trip.
That is what you need, just like time to reset almost, you know.
And like I think if I hadn't had that day, because we had Carowinds, Dollywood for 2 days at both, and then Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, and then meeting up with some friends in Pennsylvania to go to Cedar Point. So like if I hadn't had that day, like then it's like all of those parks, which are, you know, overwhelming parks, and then travel days in between there, like it probably would have run me into the ground before we even got to Cedar Point, honestly.
No, there's no way I can do anything like that. Like I would have to have a day off like every 3rd day. I'd be like, we're doing nothing today. Okay. Like I'm in bed for like 8 o'clock every night, okay, and asleep by 10. I have to have like 9 hours sleep every night, otherwise I'm really fucking angry. So there was no way that I could do it. I'd just been like, no, you know what? I'm not coming because I'm not getting enough sleep.
You'd have a better time that way, honestly.
Awful.
You really would.
Yeah.
See, I'm the opposite. So I don't realize I'm getting tired. So I'm like got so much energy. Like I think I said before, like we've said before, like when the first time we went to Orlando, like Joa had to have like multiple rest days, like a normal human being. And she was like, I'm just going to chill by the pool. And I was like, well, I'm going to go to Disney World then. And I just was like, and it wasn't until I got back home where I was like, I'm absolutely like, I've got no energy. Like I've got no energy.
I went on holiday, but now
The flight's the rest day. Let's go.
Yeah.
The flight was the rest day. Okay.
The flight was the rest day. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm just that's just what when I'm there, I'm just like full steam ahead. Joe's like, "Can you just slow down, walk?" I'm like, "Sorry."
I thought I was going to be like that the entire trip, but then kind of quickly got put in my place in terms of it was just not possible to do that. No, but then also I think go on.
No, you're good. You're good.
Well, I think you brought up, Mikhail, about like parks being overwhelming. I think the first half of our trip was quite good in that sense because we went to an overwhelming park and then went to one that was much less overwhelming and kept like alternating. So it was a bit of a balance until we then got to Holiday World. And after that, it was all just overwhelming after overwhelming after overwhelming. And there wasn't really that time to just chill. You know, like Busch Gardens, Williamsburg, you can do nothing and just kind of enjoy it. Dollywood, you don't feel a need to like bang out loads of rides on Wild Eagle, do you? You know,
no.
So you just chill.
Wild Eagle.
Wild Eagle, that's just terrible. What stupid ride, man? Why would you build that? It's like a wing coaster. It's like a sit-down coaster that they've designed with wing trains. It doesn't do anything.
Yeah, it's got nice views though.
Yeah, that's what I've always appreciated about Wild Eagle.
That's the only.
I get the argument about there's no near misses or like it just like it's not like the most forceful wing or anything like that. But the views from the top of that mountain.
Yeah.
I just remember
does the loop not do anything? Like loop on a wing coaster?
Oh, it's fine. It's just like after you've ridden a lot of B&Ms, especially like B&M sit downs or B&M like floorless coasters, it's just like here's another one.
Right.
You know, it's not, but you know what I mean?
I always try and think of wings. They're always a weird one. They never really stick in my head that much, but like I really like Flug the Moanin' or whatever you call it, Heidi. That's a nice one. That's really good.
Yeah.
And Phoenix is nice.
We have someone other than me that's been on the best one now. Now that he's been to,
let's talk about that.
Oh no, it's fine. Yeah, I mean it's pretty good, isn't it? It's pretty good. Yeah. You talk about Thunderbird, obviously.
Yeah, Thunderbird.
Yeah, no, it's cool. The launch is cool. Wing coasters are fine, aren't they? They're just fine. I don't know. I think my favorite wing coaster is weirdly Raptor at Gardaland.
Okay.
Still,
a lot of people have said that.
I've spoken to Thomas about that one recently.
Thomas loves it. It's just like everything that is good about a wing coaster, it absolutely nails to a T. And it's like it feels like they've made as much use of the ride as possible.
Yeah,
right.
You know what I mean? There's so many near misses. Yeah. The elements just kind of flow for a wing coaster. Yeah, I just like it.
I don't know if that's having. Yeah, I think. Now I think about it, I think my favourite one I've done, the one I remember just enjoying the most, was Phoenix at Toverland. It's pretty intense, but I don't know if that's just because they let me ride it like 10 times in a row.
If you ask Vic what her on-ride photo was on Phoenix, it was her just like this.
No, that's the thing that it made me black out, like nearly like grey out. Like
the left-hand side of it is
there's not many coasters I've done that like do that to me. I think it's literally, I think it's Phoenix and flipping I-305. Was like nearly.
I feel like it's impossible not to grey out on I-305.
Yeah, it's just silly. It's just so silly. Like
also, the drop is terrible and does absolutely nothing. Surprising.
I think I-305 is.
No, I agree with that.
It's the thing is, it's a spectacle. It's an experience in itself to be like, okay, let's go see how. But in reality, it's just someone made a coaster in Planet Coaster for the first time. And it's just too much. Do you know what I mean? That's they just messed it up like massively. That's really what it is.
Yeah,
I do think it's because of the restraints, though. More so than anything. The drop is profiled kind of weird. It pulls out too early.
Yeah,
but more so than that, just it has those older gen Intamin restraints that really pin you in the seat. Like,
well, rightly so. I mean, some of the transitions, I think you would die if you didn't have those restraints.
That's the trade-off.
Yeah. Worth it, I guess.
It's like when people say put lap bars on Maverick,
you would absolutely die. 100%.
You would get whiplash.
You would
on the stake.
It would snap in half.
Oh, don't talk about Maverick, man. That is bucket list for me. Oh.
Yeah. So we're currently in the plans at the minute with Chris and Gemma, like doing a Texas trip. So just specifically Texas, but tying it. Me and Joe are going to tie it into a Cedar Point. So it's going to be a more chilled trip. It's just going to be Texas. We're going to go see other things other than theme parks and do other things and stuff like that. Yeah, which, I'm an adult, so I should probably try and do that.
I am not an adult, apparently. So I just didn't do any of that.
We didn't do this last time. We didn't even see Pigeon Forge. Like, really, we just
I didn't. Forge. Stupid.
And I remember us being there, and it was the last. But the thing is, Dolly was the last park of the trip, and we was like, if we had another park tomorrow, we'd probably just fob it off and spend the day in Pigeon Forge and just go around and stuff. But we just couldn't. We didn't even have that option. But so we're going to do that and then tie and Cedar Point next year. So I think that's what we're going to do. But yeah, what was your some of your standout moments, rides? What
El Toro is very good. There was one moment on El Toro.
Theme park moments. Carrying on the trend of your enlightenment.
Theme park moments.
Pretty sure that's literally the answer. That's literally what I'm asking him. But yeah,
you said standout rides. I added.
I said standout moments and rides.
Okay.
Yeah. No. Okay. Great Adventure had two surprises for us. One was that Justice League is actually I think it's very good.
Yeah.
I really liked it. It's like a budget version of Spider-Man.
It kind of is, to be fair.
It is, which Spider-Man is objectively very good. So
yeah,
I'll take it. Yeah. And, after not riding very many dark rides for 2 weeks, yeah, cool.
That could play a big part.
Yeah, I got a massive withdrawal to the point where like riding. What is the one that's in? What's that like really shit 2D spooky ride that's in all the like in Carowinds and
Boo Blasters.
Boo Blasters.
I got excited riding that. I knew it was crap, but I was like, at least I was like, we come out. It was like, well,
literally cardboard cut out the ride.
We called it.
Just thankful for the AC.
We called it air on the ride. We was like, nice that was.
Yeah,
AC rides are great.
Yeah, we had a ride on El Toro where as we were going up the lift, we could see these rain clouds in the distance, and we thought, these are ages away. We hit the brake run, and there's a water tower at Great Adventure, and the water tower just disappeared in the rain. We thought, oh Christ! Wow. And then, like 10 seconds later, the rain hit the floor, 50 meters in front of us, and was coming into us, and then we just got poured down on. But it's such a surreal experience to like see the rain.
You just see the rain just advance.
Yeah. And then the train in front of us got sent just as it hit us. So they had a whole ride in torrential rain, which must have been insane for them.
Yeah,
that was a cool
I think I think that's one thing about every time I've been to, whether it's Orlando or like the US trip we've been, like both times we've been to Orlando, like it's so normal to like Americans, but to us, like just the intense change of weather they have, like
the sheer volume of water.
It's just like
ridiculous.
It's
gone after a little while. It's like 5 minutes.
I love it.
Yeah. It's so odd.
I mean, you've not experienced the summer thunderstorm until you've been to the East Coast.
Yeah. Oh my god. Like we were in.
They are a different breed.
Yeah, we were in King's Dominion, and the thunderstorm we had there was just insane. We basically was on what the hell is it called? Italian Job the ride. What's it called now? My brain is like what we used to be Italian Job the ride. Backlot stunt coaster. So we were on that at night, and then suddenly like this massive this massive flash of lightning happened, and then we would like where they get the pyros. We were just stuck there for like 20 minutes, and we were like, no one come up to say like it's okay or anything, or no, nothing on the speaker. We just stuck there.
Just stopped. And
it started raining, and then there's like this intense thunder, and we were just like, are we actually going to die? Because
why would they stop
so
you?
much metal.
One of the craziest things that I've ever experienced on a ride was when we came, when you come out of Rise at the end, and you come out into the open, literally in front of us was the last ride they'd done, Rise of the Resistance. The biggest lightning bolt hit just behind the Black Spire, and the biggest bang I've ever heard from Thunder in my life. And we came out, I was like, "Well done, recruits!" It was like, Jesus, what the fuck was that? Even the cast members were like, "That was a bit close." Like, you could see everyone just going, "Whoa!" That was insane.
I think one of my favorite things I've ever filmed when I used to do vlogs was was when we did it.
407 years ago.
Yeah,
many years.
Yeah, it was when we was at Coney Island, and Chris was about to get his 300th coaster on Cyclone, and obviously Cyclone's like a massive. It was a bucket list ride for me for so long because it's just iconic, and we was like so close, but we had to do like 5 coasters before we got to it to make it his 300th. Like good friends do. They're just like, yeah, we'll make it your 300th, and then this storm cloud was just you can see it in the distance, like moving towards you, and we're like, oh my god, is it even going to be open? And they just ran it in the storm. You know what I mean? They don't care there. Like any other park in the US, it's like if it's so many miles away, they're just like, yeah, close it. We can see it.
Yeah, they do.
But they ran it, and as soon as we got off it, the most intense like rain, wind. We got locked up in. We basically went to this like dive bar that had like an open front that you get in Coney Island.
Oh, I remember that from your vlog actually.
Yeah, and they had to. It was getting so bad that they were like, there's 5 guys just like brushing out the rank, like the water, just like brushing it out like that. They put down the shutters. Then we realized we was in this bar with like the craziest local people. Like, if you've ever heard, I don't know if anyone's ever seen the Coney Island viral video of where a guy just went around interviewing Coney Island people.
What, the side
I
talk
can
video?
imagine.
Like side talk NYC?
Yeah.
It's
it's like 2 minutes of just crazy like people from there. It was like that.
Yeah, I love
Is that the one where it's like, what would you say to Joe Biden?
Yeah.
It's like, give me some sugar, honey, or something.
No. I thought that was just like brilliant editing, but every single person in that part, like when they heard our accents, they were asking us about Queen Elizabeth. They were calling her a reptile. They were saying like Princess Diana and like Tupac live on this island. Like I can't say what island it was because it's a bit deep.
Did you end up in like conspiracy hour? Was it like conspiracy hour on the board when you got there?
But they gave us.
Imagine Tupac was living with Princess Diana.
But the craziest thing is, like, me and Joe, we was like, one of our things when we go there is we want to have a Long Island iced tea on Long Island. I'm like, let's just do it. And then we said, can we have a Long Island iced tea? And they were like, how do you want it? And we was like, just make it like you would normally have a Long Island. And it was just pure alcohol. It was the strongest thing I've ever.
It was pure alcohol, bit of sweet and sour.
Yeah.
And then slight dash of Coke. That's it.
But yeah, that was like one of my core memories of being in America, was just being locked in this bar in the storm that we couldn't get out of. They wouldn't even let us out, so that was a bit scary. But yeah, that was a massive sidetrack.
We didn't get locked in a room like that. So
locked in the maintenance bay of El Toro.
No, nothing that tragic. I'm trying to think of other things. People who know me, I'm not the biggest fan of inverts. I don't really care for them very much, but Alpengeist.
There you go.
Now we're talking about a roller coaster.
Learning.
It's just good, isn't it? It's just I guess for me it just doesn't feel as like an invert as most of the others. It's just so oversized and giant in this like valley. You're just going so fast through. Yeah, it's great.
You just feel so powerful. like in the first half, and like, I love that it has that feel about it, and then still has the stupid like aggressive whippy moments in the Cobra roll as well.
Yeah,
apparently that dog likes it as well.
Yeah, my dog's having a meltdown. Can you hear him?
yeah.
I need to go get him. 1 second. Give me
Tell him he's a good boy. It's fine.
He knows what we're talking about.
Get the dog.
He's a good boy. Get him.
Yeah, I remember with album guys, like it's just you do get it with a lot of inverts where the blood rushes to your feet.
Oh
my God.
Oh.
What's
Not
it? I need to
backing
know
now.
what it's called.
A whippet. Is that a whip? Is
Yeah.
that
A whippet.
What are you barking at now?
It's
a whippet,
Yeah, on the
yeah.
podcast.
Yeah.
What is he? Oh, hold on, I got it.
What's it called?
It's called Gus.
Good.
Gus the Whippet.
Yeah,
And he's having a meltdown.
Oh, good.
Give him a treat.
Great.
and
Deserves
he
it.
loves Alpengeist too.
Yeah, like when come off album guys, like the blood rush into your feet is like it makes you just tingle. Like it's just such an intense, but also like it's not
So
too
good,
intense. Do you know what I mean? It's just like it's just perfect.
I had a similar feeling on Montu when I came off that. Holy shit, that
Yep.
Batwing is insane. I couldn't believe how powerful it was. I was like, oh, now we're going into the Batwing. Oh, now we're going into the bat.
I'm good
What
because
was
I felt nothing come on to. I
Not
felt,
even on the Batwing.
I felt
Not
so
really.
indifferent to it. Like I just
Oh,
I didn't-
what? Did you ride the bat?
Montu's one of those
Yeah.
that, like, it can either be like, the best invert you ever ride in this
My
lifetime or the next,
Yeah.
or you're sure. You're just like, is that it?
I did it on multiple rows. and
It's
I was
never,
just like,
it's
no.
never like horrific, like to the point where you're just like, I'm never riding that again.
no,
But it is
no. But
either-
I mean, I was
it's
just
either-
like, I was so indifferent to it. I was
Yeah,
kind of
it's
like, that
either
was all right.
top of the top tier or just like, okay.
Yeah, I
Alright,
was
mate.
like,
It was
yeah.
so good. That's
Like
my favorite
Osiris
invert.
is better than it. Black Mamba's better than it. Nemesis
Yeah.
is better. Nemesis,
Yeah,
Inferno. No, Nemesis Inferno is not better.
No, shut the fuck up. But I do know like a fair few people who feel the same way.
Yeah,
You're all egregiously wrong, but
and
there are a lot of,
Even
there are a
the
lot of
end section,
weirdos
even
out there.
after the Nikos
Yeah.
break run on Montu is better than half the inverts that I've written. That's how good it is. I
you need
feel.
to get
Anyway.
Luke. You need to go do Osiris because if
Yes,
you're
I
gonna go
do.
Back, if you're
I
going
wanna
to
do
go
it in
back,
summer.
if you're going to go back to Disneyland Paris, which you
James
will
showed.
do.
Yeah, I'm going
Good.
November.
Good person.
James sent me a video of Osiris. I think it was James, and they have like the
I've heard it.
sprays going mental. You see the sprays when we're talking about
Yeah,
Hyperia?
Yeah. They
With
the tunnel-
Osiris?
the tunnel, yeah.
When we went on
I didn't see
Osiris
that
though, like fantastic ride, but then Vic went on it later in the day and said it was the worst roller coaster she'd ever been on. She
Oh
said
my
it was
God.
disgusting and
Oh.
rough. So they must have an issue with the train. They had two
It's because
trains
the quails had worn off, probably. maybe.
on. But honest to God, she came off after rating it and she was like, "That's the best invert I've ever been on." She said, "I never want to go on that ever again." She said it hurt. So I think it's a bit touch and go with like trains at the moment,
Yeah.
but it can be good.
I did it a lot, and it was good every time.
But anyway, Harry,
yeah,
you
I miss Alpengeist every
Yeah,
fucking
That's
day.
very good. Sean, what you said about getting your tingly feet, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
the second day, especially, like every time I rode it, I'd never had that sensation before. Like blood rushing to my feet and my feet going all funny. Yeah, it's like crack almost, you know.
It's literally it. You get off and you're like, I remember getting off and being like, oh, what the hell? Like that's
Yeah.
Having pins and needles and shit.
Yeah.
Never had
yeah.
that on
Good.
a coaster, but I had it on a booster. The only time
Yeah,
I've
you
done
get
a
it on a
booster.
lot of fairground rides.
I
Yeah.
was just
Oh
like,
yeah.
So I can't remember. Is
It's mad.
was
Alpengeist
Loch
feels
Ness
like a
open when
booster.
you were there? Is that still?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Has that
open,
all
but
been
it's
all finished?
refurbed.
Yeah,
Yeah.
refurbed.
Yeah, so
How
it's
was
really
that?
good actually. It's nice. It rides pretty well, and they put like loads of themed audio and
That's
obviously
nice.
in the tunnel. There's
Yeah.
screens.
Oh, screens.
Yeah, screens, which are a bit silly because you're going, I don't know, probably like 30 miles an hour past these vertically placed screens, so like you have half a second to see what's on the screen. You do go 3 times because it's like a triple helix, but like still, it seems a bit of an odd placement. But no, it's nice. It's a very cool ride. I'm glad they kind of kept it. I'm not always the biggest fan of parks keeping their rides Efteling with stupid prices, but Loch Ness I can give them credit for because it actually looks good, you know.
Yeah, no, well, we did it before it got retracked and that, and like it was good. Like we'd done a lot of janky arrows that trip. We had done a lot of jank that trip, but that was really nice. Like I was like, it felt good. Like same as oh my god, I cannot remember all the names. Dollywood, what's there with a
Tennessee Tornado?
Tennessee Tornado. I really enjoyed that.
That's cool. That's cool.
I was prepared for the worst when I was looking at it, and
that's a differently designed arrow, though. That was
that's like the first computer designed arrow that the first arrow they made with a computer. So you can tell the difference. Like it's so different compared to the rest. But yeah, so it was nice. I liked Loch Ness a lot. I just want to ask you about all the ones like I've done and you've done.
Another highlight for me was I got my first evac ever.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow.
Yes, on Pantheon.
Oh wow.
Oh yeah, I remember watching the video.
You watched John's vlog. Yeah, I was going on it not for the first time. I think it was like my second or third time, and I was going on the front. So I was on the front by myself. Very sad. You know, it rolled out the station, hit the first launch, cool, do all of that. I rocked up to the launch over the hill, and instead of accelerating, it just slowed down and stopped.
Yeah.
And then I sat there for 10 minutes, and then the guy came over and was like, "Oh, don't worry, it's meant to do that sometimes, you know." So he's like reassuring me that I was okay, and I'm not gonna die, you know. And then I walked off, and you just walk into the queue line. So it's like the most dull ride evac I've ever had.
But
you know what I mean? It wasn't even worth the time.
And what's so funny about that is people like us, like riding these coasters and like getting into that evac situation. And depending on the ride up, like any given ride up coming over and just like giving the whole spiel of reassuring us that we are in a safe space. Despite the fact that we probably know more about how that ride works than the ride up.
My favorite thing about evacs is when they go like, "I'm so sorry, like it's our fault," blah, blah, blah. And we're just like, "Don't apologize. It's fucking brilliant." Like, take your time.
I still want that 13 crypt evac. I still want that one.
Yeah,
that would be good.
My favorite was getting evac from the top of Alice, so I got to walk down the spiral bit. That was very
nice. You got track walk.
It's funny though that Pantheon was your first evac, because my first and only evac was on Tutatis.
Wow.
So we basically rolled out the station.
Yours was from the first launch, wasn't it?
Yeah, the first launch. So we rolled out the station into the first launch. It launched and then just stopped and then just slowly brought us backwards.
Did it like accelerate for like half a second first?
It full on like it went like that and then stopped, and then we were like,
wow.
It really throws you off because you're like expecting to be like, yeah, and you're like, whoa, what the hell?
Yes, I had my hands up ready to bolt down the track, and then just stop. And
then we sat on there for a little while, and then they eventually just got us off and then walked us down out to the back, and then we waited for about 10 minutes, and they just got us straight back on again, which was nice. They did, even though it's like the actual ride had closed at that point, but they like tried their hardest to like get it going, and then
Pantheon was dead the entire rest of the day. It was quite late in the day. That was it. It was done.
Yeah.
In terms of boring evacs, like my first evac was actually on Taron.
So was mine
in 2021. There we go.
Really?
Wow. Yeah. And we evac'd on the final break run. So like, we were like, holy shit. And it was at night as well. It was a night ride. We got evac from the final break run. And me and Tom, we were sat next to each other. We were just like, oh my god, we finally got an evac. For us to hop out of the train and like walk maybe 15 meters. It was literally just walking a straight line.
Yeah.
I'll take it.
From the break run to the station. I'm like,
funnily enough,
might be the most anticlimactic evac ever.
It counts.
My first and only evac, also at Phantasialand, on Play.
Oh, yours is insane. Tell us about yours. Yours is
Yeah,
insane.
so mine was final, like once you're seated again, breaks waiting to go into offload. We stopped there for a while. It was just like, heard an announcement in the queue line. They started evacing the queue line really quickly. So like, what's going on? And then all of a sudden, a member of staff comes out, like checking if everyone's okay, followed by a cloud of white smoke.
Oh my
Because
god!
one of the drive tires was actually burning.
Yeah.
Oh,
It was just like, shit, okay. So we're
Told
sat
you it
on
was
this
mad.
ride, smoke, so I'm like covering my mouth. And then like they run down the second launch tunnel and then just reappear with this platform for an evac. So that you didn't have to jump down. But unfortunately, by the time they got us off the train, all the stuff happening in the station with the drive tire was sorted out, so we just got evac through the offload. I was like, I wanted to walk down the launch tunnel and get evac that way.
Yeah, that would have been amazing.
But no, into the offload, and then the poor
the
guy
fact
next
that
to me though, actually,
tire was, like-
because that part is all gravel, and he had been wearing flip flops, so he put all his shoes into the locker, so he had to walk on gravel bare feet.
Not ideal.
With a tire burning away.
Harry, did you do a dark coaster?
Yes. It's good. Like if you don't have to, I didn't have to queue for it. I think I did it.
See, that's a difference.
Twice or 3 times, and yeah, when you don't have to queue for it, it's actually pretty good. So, part of the video, I kind of explain how these American regional amusement parks just don't build modern family coasters for some stupid. I don't know why they did it.
No,
it was really nice to ride that.
Yeah,
I think someone said to me that Verbolten was meant to be a family coaster, but
not.
the indoor bit of Verbolten literally kills you.
Yeah, it's not.
It made me grey out every time I went on it.
So I think the mistake we made was before we went on Verbolten, we went to the I can't remember what it's called. You know, like the German, like
the Fest House.
I could spend all day in that place. It was so fun.
Yeah, it's cool.
So good. But we like drank a few beers in there, and then I went with Verbolten, and I can kind of remember it. I just remember it being like so much more intense than I thought. Like I just remember like
it hits. It really hits.
It really does hit.
That
Dark Coaster is fun.
Is
I think the problem with the problem we had with Dark Coaster was that when we went, it had just opened, and like that the whole state driving in, there was so many billboards for it, and I'm like, they built this like they really hyped this thing up, and it wasn't the hype of it. It was just like we got there, everything in that park was walk on except for Dark Coaster, and we waited 2 hours for it. And I avoided spoilers and stuff, so I didn't even know what I was going into. Like,
it's not going to hit after 2 hours, is it?
And then like it was one of the most awful queues. It was like Darren Brown level, like awful queue.
Doesn't move kind of thing.
Yeah, it was just bad. And then like when we come out, the park had closed, and I was just like that. Like it just to me, I was like, I was expecting something like really good. And it's not bad. Don't get me wrong; it's not bad. But it was like B&M level. Like,
how did you not have to wait for it, Harry? Did you have quick queues?
No. It was just we went there as soon as it opened, and for the first like 20 minutes of the day, it wasn't busy. So the first day we went to Busch Gardens, it was meant to rain pretty much all day, and it rained a tiny bit when we were getting there, which felt great because we entered the England section and it was raining. And I was like, this is the vibe that I want, But yeah, I think the crowd levels that day were pretty minor. So
I think what I love, I remember about entering Busch Gardens for the first time, because you come in the England entrance, they play UK music. So we walked in and they were playing The Madness, and I was like, this is insane. I was like, this is so good. Like it was like,
it's funny, isn't it?
Yeah, it's very, very funny.
I like the clock they've got because it's meant to resemble Big Ben, but it looks nothing like Big Ben. It just makes me laugh.
It felt like, I think to me, it felt like I was in like Stratford upon Avon. That's what it felt like. I was like, this is more like
during the Halloween event, they replace all of the Union Jack flags that they have hanging up with posters of Jack the Ripper.
Oh my god!
Like the Yorkshire Ripper.
They should have Yorkshire Ripper or Jack the Ripper, because that's very two different.
They're two very different.
Very fucking distasteful.
Yorkshire Ripper's like a bloke from Yorkshire, like from like what? Like I think.
Well, like
murdering kids.
There's mention of basically those different kind of things happening around England. But like probably the main one is Jack the Ripper.
I was gonna say Jack the Ripper's probably more in keeping, like because by this point he's more like Santa. You know what I mean?
Which I just thought is super cool.
That was pretty good. They could actually have like a Roman actress Jack the Ripper around them areas at night. It would actually like be really pretty scary.
Like carriage and stuff. That'd be cool.
But cool. I think we're coming up to 9:30, so I think we should probably.
I will just for one more thing. Given the fact that I'm flying out to Detroit tonight to go to Cedar Point for the weekend. Whoop, whoop. How about we end it on talking about Cedar Point, Harry?
That could be probably a whole episode. Let's go into it.
Because everyone, I know you've got some things to say about that place.
Yeah,
and, I mean, so do I.
Cedar Point, people talk about it as this like godly amusement park experience where it's the place to go,
like the mecca for like
basically but it's a bit shit. Like it genuinely is. It obviously has some of the best roller coasters in the world, but like from the park's point of view, it's just not a nice place to be. Also, you got to think, this park has nearly 20 different roller coasters. The park is rammed all of the time, and unless you have fast pass or whatever, you ain't gonna ride stuff. How does that work? How can you have so many really high capacity rides yet have terrible queues all of the time? It's something doesn't work there. It's just
it's quite mind blowing when you think about it.
It is. It's really mind blowing.
Cedar Point's capacity is like, in terms of like the maximum amount of people that can fit in the park at any given time, is somewhere in the 50,000s.
It's got to be huge,
That's just mad. That's mad.
Like,
it's a huge place, isn't it?
It's
like
huge.
From start to end is massive.
And like you said, Harry, there's so many high capacity roller coasters there, and yet Millennium Force is always on like an hour and a half to 2 hour wait. Steel Vengeance, obviously, hour and a half, 2 hour wait. I've not seen Valraven in the 3 visits that I've made to Cedar Point. I've not seen Valraven on anything less than a 90-minute queue line.
Really?
Ever. Not
it
once.
Broke down, so I've actually got on it in like 15 minutes because I just walked past as it
you just happened to be there.
Oh, nice. I love it when that happens.
Yeah, very, very jammy. But this is it, 100%. Like all of those rides are over 1,000 people per hour, yet the park is crazy busy. Something just doesn't make sense in that.
It's so weird because
is there a lot going on in between the rides? Like,
there's a shit ton of rides there. There's a bunch of
rides. But I've also heard though that like they like firing the trains out, or they not. What was your?
They're not really.
Not really. No.
Some of the ups are good, and some are just average. It's not bad, but I wouldn't say it's like mind blowing. I don't know about your experience with Kyle.
Yeah, I mean, like the definitely the first visit I made, not so much the second and third, but like definitely the first one are some of the best operations I've seen like anywhere. Cedar Point used to be heralded for like industry leading operations from a performance standpoint.
Wow.
Right.
And as the years have gone by, my first visit was in like 2016. I'm talking about like almost 10 years ago. Yeah. But as the years have gone by, like I don't know, with just like the training methods that they've adopted, they've been abandoned and taken up new things and stuff. And I'm not 100% sure, but just like the operations have gone like down steadily. They've had to just be selling so many more Fastlane Pluses, because at one point between 2019 and somewhere within the COVID era, they started just ridiculously overselling gold passes. So they're just packing the park out with people with these cheap ass gold passes, and then I guess the net result would have been an uptick in the amount of fast lanes sold. So then the fast lane queues end up being as long as the normal queues.
Yeah.
So then the ratios get fucked up.
When you see a fast lane queue for Steve is 40 minutes, it's just like, how does that make sense?
Yeah.
How are you paying $100 to then wait 40 minutes?
Yeah.
It's crazy.
So you basically have to pay that extra to get like a normal theme park experience.
Well, so we spent 2 days there. The first day we just did, as plebs and waited in the queues. And then the second day we had Fastlane Plus and did all of the big stuff like Chain Road Maverick. Steel Vengeance's queue is terrible. That system at the end where it splits into half is the most frustrating thing I've ever seen in my life. God, it's awful. I don't know. My problem is, like, the park setting is inherently lovely because you're in the middle of this giant lake. But when you're standing in the middle of it, you can't see shit.
Yeah.
You can't see any of that because it's just constant rides everywhere, and it kind of shields all of the natural beauty of the area until you're actually on the rides. And then my other problem is, it's just one long strip basically because of the way it's shaped. And walking from one end to the other is so boring because it feels so monotonous. It's probably the same length of like walk duration as Towers from like X Sector to Forbidden Valley, but Towers has that variation in what.
Is it that big then? Like,
it's huge.
But it's packed with rides though, isn't it?
It's just constant. Yeah. But the midways are so big, just concrete, wastelands of just. I don't know why it's designed like that. So great rides, but I have no desire to go back there at all, ever. To be honest, it's just, I don't know.
At least you can say you've done it though. It's one of them where, like, if you're an enthusiast, you're like, you want to do it at some point.
Yeah, but I know so many people who really like it. Like, Scott from, God, what's his channel called now?
Your Experience Guide.
Your Experience Guide. Yeah, cool. Thank you. He loves it. He really likes Cedar Point. I just don't share any of that sentiment at all.
And like and I was thinking about this the other day as well, like there's something to be said about just like the aura of like just like how iconic it is within just like coaster enthusiasm. Obviously that doesn't resonate with someone who prefers theme parks, but there are like coaster enthusiasm from the 90s onwards has been almost I'm not going to say single-handedly, that's disrespectful, but like a lot of it has been dictated by Cedar Point's establishment of just topping its own records.
Definitely.
And that lives on in a lot of people's heads, and for good reason. And it lives on in my head to some degree, despite
Nothing
the fact that
nothing.
I think it's just that age-old thing where like just packing a park till its full capacity is just going to be a detriment to guest experience.
It's not fun for anyone, is it?
And I like, I mean,
the grievances are with operations and management, not more so than the park itself and how it's been.
But I feel like I'm going to be a bit biased here. I don't think, for example, with Alton Towers, I feel like Alton Towers and Cedar Point probably share a same sort of thing, whereas like it's a destination, like you're not going anywhere near. Most families are not going anywhere near Alton Towers unless they're going to Alton Towers,
right?
And Cedar Point, from what I know, is like it's in the middle of nowhere. It's kind of like a lot of people are maybe like going there for just that. So you've got all these people going to one kind of compact area, and if you haven't got the capacity, I mean, I know Towers used to be really bad at it, like probably about 10 years ago. With like just packing it above capacity, they've been a lot better, and I know that for a fact, like in terms of like knowing the stats and stuff. Obviously in the summer, I still avoid it in the summer, but I avoid every UK park in the summer. Every UK park unless I'm working, I'm avoiding it. But yeah, it's just that sort of thing where it's like if you're overselling, especially like you say with the Cedar Points, overselling the gold passes. Because when I listen to Drunk Riders, I've heard them talk a lot about that in terms of. But I've heard that with what's it called? Oh, what the hell? Knott's Berry Farm as well. Like they're guilty of that a lot as well. It's like I know a few people who've been there and just been like, it's just been crazy. Like it's just been like to the point where they feel unsafe. Like, so it's
If you have to have like fast pass to experience a park, it's just not it. You know, that's not how it should be. If that is the standard, the norm, then something is inherently, wrong.
But there needs to be like a limit on fast pass. Like there needs to be a limit. Like if you go to
there always needs to be a limit on how.
Yeah, if you go to most theme parks, like the fast pass will sell out in like the first few hours on a busy day. Like you won't be able to get a fast pass after a certain point. But from what I've heard,
it's just like if you're gonna have a park like Cedar Point that can, accommodate for just an astronomical amount of people. Like one half of it is limiting the amount of fast pass sales, but I mean, if you've got the ability to house all these people, like the operations crews, like you've got to get those people through the lines. Still. Like is the weirdest thing about it is that Cedar Point used to be I don't know if I want to say the pinnacle because Europa Park exists, but like amongst the pinnacle of performance in terms of operational throughput and hourly capacity and stuff. Like it used to be there, and now it's not. Right at the time where they're getting more and more people into the park.
Yeah, it doesn't make sense. Just a tangent on that really quickly. The best ops we saw, Kings Island were pretty good, but the ops are a bit weird. Where Thomas had a coffee with him, and the woman was like, "No, you can't ride this with the coffee. You can't put the coffee on the ground. You have to put it in the bin." But he had like half of his coffee still. I was like, why can't we just walk through, put it on the ground? It was bizarre. Like, I don't understand what happened there. Other ops, Dollywood, really good. Really, really good. Right, full on sending the trains out. The staff were on it. There was loads of staff for every kind of platform. Dollywood was just good, man. It's a park that you can tell everybody is having a great time. We rocked up and it was really busy. Yeah. But then 3 hours in, all of the crowds seemed to just kind of dissipate because the park was dealing with it. They could handle the crowds.
It's got a good mix of different demographics.
Yes.
And they have the separate rides to deal with. And they're all kind of like, there's a lot of family rides altogether when you think about it. But then
100%.
You go to some of the thrill rides and you're like, well, there's not hardly any queue. I mean, the thing with Dollywood is that only that and Hershey Park were the only two parks that we paid for fast pass, because we got to Hershey Park and that was intense. Like we got there and everything was on like 90 minutes plus. Oof. So we just went and got fast pass. But Dollywood was like $60, and it was unlimited fast pass except for Big Bear Mountain and Lightning Rod. And so I was just like, that's mental. I was like $60 for basically unlimited fast pass, except for the newest ride and the biggest ride or whatever.
Yeah.
And I was like, you can't really moan at that. But even then, like, Lightning Rod, we got on within 40 minutes. So it looked like it was busy, but it actually wasn't that. Like they were just getting through the queue.
This is it, 100%. Like, I think Thunderhead was at 60 minutes in the first 40 minutes of the park opening, but later, walk on.
Yeah, that's literally the first coast to get to if you go that way, isn't it? So
exactly.
Yeah,
and that's at a park that doesn't force you to put your bags in a locker before getting on the ride.
Man. It's just a good park.
Good.
So good trash. We like it. Big Bear Mountain, one of the best rides there. One of the best rides of the entire trip. It's really good.
It's great. It's so good. Like, I didn't expect it to be as like fun as I thought it was going to be.
No.
But Fire Chaser, amazing.
Fire Chaser is good as well.
Fire Chaser is so good.
It's almost like these family coasters are actually enjoyable.
Literally.
Right?
Yeah, they are.
Fire Chaser, I will say Fire Chaser just underwhelmed me just a smidge because I was expecting Verbolten intensity and it wasn't that, but it is very fun.
Why did you expect Verbolten intensity?
Because at the time I had no idea what it did in the layout, and I just seen off rides of it, and I was like, oh, that looks the same as what Verbolten does. And I love Verbolten.
It was great. It was great and wholesome experience in that ride with Chris, because Chris used to be a fireman for like a decade.
Really?
So like when he was in there, like he was literally like he was looking at everything in the station, and he was like, "These are like authentic medals, like, like all the stuff. It's like they're authentic. It's not just props. Like everything in there, like there's pictures, there's medals, there's like actual like like bells and like everything in there." He was just like gushing over it, and I was like,
"That's so cool."
And then we got the front row, and we was like, "Chris, you can drive the fire truck. Go on, mate." And he was in his element.
The first photo that you sent when you got there to New York was a picture of a fire truck. You were like, "Chris is taking photos of fire trucks."
Yeah. Well, one of his big things was like seeing a fire truck in New York, and I mean, I didn't get it at first, but when I saw one, I was like, "Wow, it is actually like an experience to see a fire truck in New York. They are massive and they are loud." Like. It was up there with seeing like the smoke coming out of the grids. I was like, I didn't think that was
wow.
I was like, I did not think that was a thing, but there was like literal smoke coming up.
It's funny. It's got Ninja Turtles and everything.
Yeah, it's cool. It's cool. Like, I mean, I've said it before, but New York was. I was not bothered about New York. But the only reason I was going to New York was like it was a very easy way to get to our first theme park, and obviously doing Coney Island. But it was just like. It's just surreal. Like New York I know it sounds stupid, but it's just everything is massive. Like you know when you used to go into like European cities or like even London, you're like everything's tall, but everything is still like you still got like the same size path. But you go to the sidewalks in New York and they are like the size of like 4 buildings over here. And they're like, what the heck? What is going on? You feel like an ant.
European cities build outwards.
Yeah.
And American cities built upwards.
So
like New York City is everything just goes up to the sky.
Yeah, man, it's just so easy. It's so easy to find. You're like, wow, it's just a big square, really, isn't it? So you just like, you're like, you don't even
in the
need
center of London. You can still see, like, it still feels open a little bit. Like you can still see a lot of the sky. In the middle, you stand in the middle of New York City, like all you can fucking see is skyscrapers.
I really want to go to Central Park, man.
But if you go to like Times Square, it was the only busy part, really. Like, as soon as you get out of Times Square, it's like the streets are deserted because everything's so big. You're like, there's nothing there. But it's weird going to Times Square at night because of the amount of screens. It feels like daytime. Like it's just so
that
bright.
Awful.
Wow. Yeah, it's we spent probably about 20 minutes in Times Square and was just like, this is just a lot. Like it's like being inside TikTok. Like actually,
it's an extremely overwhelming.
Yeah, it's just like sensory overload. It's just
the experience.
Too much, but cool. Are we good? We good?
Yeah. Let's wrap it.
Put a pin in it.
Yeah. Right, guys. Well, thank you so much for joining us, Harry. We appreciate you coming on anytime you want. Yeah, anytime you want, man. There's obviously a lot more to talk about. We could have talked for hours, but yeah, let's wrap this up. So thank you for everyone joining us.
And we'll gush about Dollywood.
That's good.
Yeah, we'll get a part 2 in. Yeah. But no, it's been great. It's been great to be back as well as a full house. And hopefully we'll be back next week.
Yeah.
Sounds like a plan to me.
Is there anything you want to like push out there, Harry? Like content
Joel reminded me the Voyage is a very good roller coaster. It's my new number 1. Yeah. We're done. Bye.
Oh I'm jealous.
Very good. It's
yeah.
There is not another coaster in the world like Voyage.
Nope.
Nice. Before we go, did you get is it Hollywood Nights where they do like a trimless
yeah, that's what we're talking about. Genuinely, I wrote it in the front, and it doesn't feel like any other roller coaster you've ever ridden. It's just like 100 seconds of this relentless pitch black speed of Oh, I can't.
Yeah.
It's indescribable. You know, it's
Right.
To be honest, even trimmed rides are bonkers. Like,
oh, they're great. They're great. Yeah,
it's
but like
stupid.
trimless at night is just
Of
like,
course, yeah.
I love that a park does a trimless ride of a roller coaster like that. That just speaks volumes.
it must absolutely ruin the track.
Yeah.
It fucking does enough damage to the track.
Oh,
For
brilliant.
2 nights, it's
All right,
worth it. I guess.
let's actually go. Thanks, everyone. We'll see you next week. Thank you, Harry.
Thank you.
See you later, everyone. See you later, Gus.
Yeah. Bye bye.
Bye. Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
Gus.